Live? All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to Seventh Day Harvest Shabbat School. I am one of the Morays here, Moray Benayahu Yehuda, aka Beniyah. I did a series or a message about a week or two ago on Yahweh's deliverance. Didn't get a chance to finish it, but they decided to have me back for part two, so you put me to work.
All right.
So I had to go back to the drawing board and come up with something else to add on to the end of it. So yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna start off. I do need my reader if he's coming, but I'll start it. So when we look at deliverance, when we look at the term deliverance, it is defined according to Mr. Webster. Deliverance in religion describes the process of which one is delivered from control of something or someone. What do we do when things get difficult? Where do we run? To whom or what do we return? Who do we turn to? Do we turn to Yahweh? Do we turn to our oppressor? Do we turn to who we think is going to help us? Sometimes I think we turn to the other besides turning to Yahweh. One lesson I've learned is who I need to turn to in the deliverance. You know, after dealing with COVID, I definitely know who to turn to.
Yes.
You know, I definitely know where my help came from.
Yes.
There is a relational aspect we have to think about in deliverance. Where Yahweh continues to come and get his people, no matter what. You know, we so stiff-necked and we so disrespectful, he still comes and he gets us when we call on him. You know, no matter what our circumstances are, you know. But we have to also look at, man, there is no room for pride, self-help, because you can't do nothing. It's always Yahweh. You think about how the times we suffer. Look at how, you know, sometimes our sin, Yahweh will come get us. Sometimes he'll let us stew in it for a second.
Yes.
And then he'll come through and deliver us. You know, David sinned with Bathsheba. You know, he didn't deliver him out of it. He let him stew in it. But then he redeemed him. The big idea for the message today is simple. Yahweh's mercy is, you know, it's a cause for thanksgiving. We should be thankful for that. When we cry to him, you know, he'll restore us. I see it in my own life. One of the precepts I want to pull real quick is if you can give me Psalms 107 and read verses 1 through 3.
Psalms chapter 1, starting at the first verse.
107.
Oh, 107. Yeah, Psalms chapter 107, starting at the first verse. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Let the redeemed of Yahweh say so, whom he hath redeemed from the hand of the enemy, and gathered them out of the lands from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south.
Thank you. The key thing and idea in that passage is Yahweh is willing to restore us when we call him. Even the variety of circumstances, you know, self-inflicted pain or rebellion in this case, you know, we are definitely under the hand of our foes, but we can't lose heart. We can't lose faith. Yahweh's ability to deliver us from the hand of our enemy. He says he will. He said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. The people who Yahweh has saved are thankful to him because he's rescued them from their enemies, literally from their enemies. So we know that he's going to deliver us. So we, as his people, need to constantly give him thanksgiving. Now we're going to get into some of these precepts that I have for you. We're going to stay in the Psalms for a second. If you can go to Psalm 6 and read verse 4.
Psalm 6, at verse 4, Return, O Yahweh, deliver my soul, O save me for thy mercy's sake.
when we look at this verse, it's very clear that we got to constantly be mindful of Yahweh and His ability to save us. Doesn't matter what it looks like out there. I mean, it looks bad some days. You know, they want to mandate us to take the jab. They want to, you know, make us take their whatever. You know, I get calls from the pharmacy. Oh, you're behind on your, you know, your immunizations. Do you want? I said, I'm taking this stuff when I was, you know, some stuff I took when I was a kid. I'm like, no, I'm not taking that again. And they were like, oh, okay, but your pharmacist recommends it. My pharmacist is not my primary care, but it's crafty counsel. It's clear that they're trying to get us. You know, no matter what, they're trying to make it look good. They're trying to say, you know, what point? I mean, what point can we not go to the grocery store without getting the vaccine? You know, we know that's coming. If they're already telling my job. They told us already the other day that we're going to have a letter, and it has to be approved by our job's attorney in order to be able to work without getting tested or getting vaccinated. So I was like, you know what? I'll leave this job. I'll go work for myself. You know, at this point, you know, I'm not concerned about where my funds, you know, Yahweh has He can sustain me. I was out for a month and didn't miss a bill, you know, so I know He can sustain us. But you know, I was like, I ain't taking the job. I told my boss, I said, I'm not taking it. I don't care what y'all say. I'll have you a letter. That's why I was asking for a letter, because I made one up myself with the ideas from the other ones. I was like, and I'll get it signed and I'll bring it in there. Y'all give me problems and I'll leave. It's just that clear. But I know that ultimately that if I ask for Yahweh's help, He's going to help me. He's not going to leave me out there. He's not going to allow my family to go hungry or my obligations not to be met. You know, the verse we quoted, that we read last week, He said, do I not have the power to deliver? Of course He does. You know, if we trust in Him, you know.
A verse that says He will deliver you, and that right early.
Yes. Yes.
Right on time.
Right on time. You know, and he's so deep that He's outside of time, but He's in time.
Yeah.
I mean,
He is time.
He is time. You know what I'm saying? He created time.
Yeah.
And He operates outside of it. I mean, it looks bad. It looks bad for us in some cases, but hey, we know ultimately this is, you know, our redemption draws nigh. You know, the Master's coming, and we just need to endure.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. So it's all about endurance at this point. I'm gonna stay in the Psalms. I got to have one in Judges, but I'll get to that later. So give me Psalms 22 and 4.
Psalms 22 and verse 4. Our fathers trusted in Thee. They trusted, and Thou didst deliver them.
We were just talking about our forefathers and how they was connected and they knew something. You know, they trusted. You know, sometimes they didn't know what to call Him, but they trusted in Yahweh. You know, they knew something. They had a connection. Like my mother, you know, she called Him Jesus, but you couldn't tell me my mother didn't know Him. You know, the way her worship was, you could not tell me that she did not know Him and that she did not know He was the Master. And she trusted Him no matter what. To the day she died, she trusted that if she never got healed, not one more day, what He gave her was enough. I mean, and that was one of the biggest examples. But our fathers before that, I came from a long line of preachers and teachers, and they trusted Him no matter what it looked like. They didn't have a problem. Y'all remember those old school people used to come over the house and pray for you? You remember you get sick? You didn't go to the doctor first. They brought the couple people over to pray for you.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you felt better. They get that salve out. I don't know if y'all know what salve is, but they get that little salve cream out, rub it on you. Man, I don't care what you had hurt. You know, you would feel better after that. They would pray over you for hours. I mean, I remember they would get me all the time. I was kind of a sickly kid. So they was constantly praying over me, and that's sad, man. I don't think people even make salve like that anymore. But I remember
that anymore. Those remedies, and they were natural. They were made out of natural ingredients.
And it's unfortunate that we didn't learn it, that we didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
we didn't learn to be able to keep it going because it stopped with them. But those things, but that's another idea of trusting in them. They came up with salve, they came up with certain ways they would come and pray for you, and they trusted in it, and we got delivered, we got healed. You know, but it was a connection that we had. We have to get back. We have no time to waste. We have to get it back.
They were following the word.
They were.
They said, come to get them, the elders together, and let them anoint you and pray over you.
Pray over you.
And that's what they did.
That's what they did.
Anointed you, prayed over you, and hey, you got better.
You got better.
But
And
their faith was so strong. I know my foster mother, her faith was, and I, as a kid and another generation, because my foster mother was older, she was more like grandmother that raised me.
Mhm.
But that generation, you got so caught up in the worldly things and what they were trying to tell you, you kind of dismissed it, or you figure, oh, that's old fashioned, you know, this is a new world, a new age, we don't need that, we don't do that type of thing. When you did not understand, they knew they had the basics. They had what you actually needed. Even if you got into a modern world or new world, you still needed these things.
they had the basic principles,
Yes.
and you know, that scripture says, "Thy word I've hid in my heart." They carried that. They carried that word in their heart. You know, it was not just. You know, sometimes I think because we have the apocrypha and we have the scriptures that we take it for granted. We take it for granted that we got it. You know, you look at movies like the Book of Eli. They was fighting over the Bible. It was the Bible that he was carrying that they were fighting over. There's gonna be a time when this word ain't gonna be as available as we think it is, and we're gonna have to have it in our heart to be able to call it. You know, in some cultures, they memorize the scriptures and they teach it to each other by oration, by reciting it. They don't write it down because they know that writing was forbidden and writing things down was against the rules. So they had to teach it by being oral. And that may come a time again where they take this from us, and the only thing we're going to have is we have it in our heart, and we can recall it in our heart, and that's how we'll teach it. Otherwise, we won't get taught. And you know, we just got to be mindful. Yes, please.
Hallelujah. Yeah, you guys are really making me think, you know, because so many times, you know, you hear in this awakening that, you know, a lot of mocking and condemning Christians, you know what I mean? And we have to be careful, you know, because as I listen to the testimony, you know, and you know, we talk about the scripture, y'all mentioned like ignorance, you know what I'm saying? But you know, our parents and grandparents, they knew the Most High as to the point of the knowledge that they had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But their faith, most of their faith was impeccable. You know what I'm saying? I was just listening to a marathon for Atonement Day, and they were talking about that. They're saying, you know, how can the Christians worship, you know, be more powerful than or more committed than we are? We have this truth, but they're so committed. We know the testimonies like what I'm just saying from you guys. I have my own testimony, you know, knowing that, you know, he answered my prayers.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? He answered my prayers. So I'm very careful not to mock Christianity. The only thing I always bring out is about the fact that where they lack, which would be keeping the Sabbath day. You know what I mean? Things like that, or not knowing who they are. But as far as you know, just mocking them and you know, you can't do that because most of us came from that,
Right.
and that's what kept us.
Right.
And I know there's those that didn't come through church, you know, and they came into this truth at you know, either a young adult age, or even older, that didn't have the experience. Because everybody didn't have the experience of being in church.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that. I remember sitting at the side of bed of one of my kids when I was working for the youth department, and you know, he said I never stepped foot in the church. You know, they used to call me preacher man. He said, preacher man, I never stepped foot in the church. You know, all my life. My mother never took me. My parents never made me go. Matter of fact, he was raised by his mother, following him around. You know, so you know, it's just good to hear the testimonies. You know, because we can't forget how he got us to where we are now. You know, I threw up half my blood count. So my blood count is 40. I threw up, I think I had 19 point something left after throwing up almost all my blood. All I was saying was I was trying to say Jesus. I was you, and the blood was just going in the trash can. Half my blood count. But I know who kept me alive. You know what I'm saying? Half my blood count. So just, so I don't see any reward in bashing the very place where I came from. All I can do is bring the knowledge of the truth of all you're getting, get understanding. Bring that understanding to our people that are still asleep or still caught up in Christianity. Try to help them to see. You know what I mean? So,
I personally, I have no doubt that if my mother was alive and she heard me teaching now, that she would come and keep the Sabbath. She loved the scriptures, and she loved the fact of me teaching the scriptures. And, although I didn't want to do it, she would definitely get on board. And she was my first teacher. All the teachers I've had, none can compare to my mother. My mother knew those scripts, and she taught me from a very young age to. She precept. She was a preceptor, and she didn't know she was a preceptor.
Yeah.
My mother would be like, "Oh, this lines up with this, and this lines up with this." And she was the kind of person you couldn't go to the store without her praying for you. I'm going to the store. I'll be back. Come here. Let me pray. I'm like, "Mom, I'm going to the store." She's like, "No." She was that kind of person. She was that person. She was the person that everybody called for to pray. But you couldn't tell my mother that she didn't know the master. So much so that my father only stepped foot in church twice in my life that I can tell you. But at 70 years old, he joined the church. Better late than never. And I asked him about it. I said, "Man, why you joining?" He said, "Man, this is the only way I can guarantee I see your mother." And he said, and for me, that's worth it. And he studies. He asks me stuff. I think I'm leaning on him about keeping the Sabbath. He's a little leaning, but he likes to hear me. He likes to hear what I say, and he does it. He's trying to get off that shrimp, crab, and lobster. He's holding on. He's trying to get off of it because I be on him about it. But I said we'll take baby steps. We'll take baby steps. Go down. Take a step, which he is doing. Go down, if you could, stay in Psalm 22, but go down to verse 8.
Psalm 22 and verse 8, he trusted on Yahweh and that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him.
Read that one more time.
Okay. Psalms 22 and 8, he trusted on Yahweh that he would deliver him.
Hold on a second. The government would deliver him?
That Yahweh would deliver him.
Obama would deliver him?
That Yahweh would deliver him.
Biden and Kamala Harris?
Yahweh.
We have to understand that, man, ain't no deliverance coming from nothing or nobody but Yahweh. It ain't coming from the government. It ain't coming from, the people we think. It ain't coming from, Alex Jones. It ain't coming from any of the people we may listen to on the news. It's coming from Yahweh. Yahweh's the one that's going to bring this thing to a halt. Yahweh's the one that's going to slow this thing down. Yahweh's the one that's going to put our enemies. And shalom, brother. Yahweh's going to be the one that does that. And the sooner we understand it, the better. Jump over to Psalm 25 for me and give me verse 20.
Psalm 25 at verse 20. Oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in thee. Keep reading.
No, you can stop there. Psalm 25 and 20. He said, "Keep my soul, oh Yahweh." It looks bad out here sometimes. I mean, I was I was a little upset about my job and how they were trying to bully us into this vaccine. But ultimately I was like, well, y'all, man, keep my soul. I'm not even worried about it. We're in a day of atonement. You know, I've been fasting all day and afflicting myself and repenting. I'm calling people that I wronged back in junior high. I'm not a, what I'm saying, wronged you. You know what I mean? Just even my children, because, kids take things personal, even though you don't mean harm with them. So I was calling texting my daughter saying, hey, did I hurt your feelings? If I did, forgive me. My daughter called me this morning, and she's like, my oldest, which is, if I had to say the one to maybe lose my hair, it was that oldest one. she put me through the ringer, but she called me this morning and said, I just want to tell you I love you, man, and I appreciate you. I mean, I'm like, what do you say to that? I'm like, well, thank you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? What do you say to that? She was like, I just want to tell you, because sometimes you just want to be appreciated, and sometimes you think that you offend them and they don't let it go, because we can hold grudges. We hold grudges. I know I'm personally, I hold grudges. There's some people right now, if I see them, we fight. But I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better. If I see him right now, there's a brother in Harlem right now. If I see him, it's gonna be a problem. There's gonna be some smoke. There's gonna be some smoke in the city. You know what I'm saying? So if you watch it, Yusuf, if I catch you in the streets, it's gonna be a problem. I called your name out.
He dropped the name.
I dropped the name. If I see you, it's gonna be a problem. No, I'm gonna forgive you for that, brother. We're in the atonement. I'm gonna forgive you.
Yeah, he might try to call you after this.
He might call me, brother. What I do, brother? What I do? Yeah. So, man, the Psalms have so much about it. So we're gonna stay in it. Give me. Let's hear it.
Psalm 17:8. Precept, Psalm 17:8. Keep me as the apple of the eye, and hide me under the shadow of thy wings. We got a special place.
Hey,
we are the apple of his eye.
Apple of his eye.
Hallelujah. We know he's gonna keep us in these times of trial. When our jobs and our livelihood is threatened. I want to read something that somebody said. I sent somebody a video. He's a preacher, a pastor, who's like a son to me. Mm-hmm. I sent him a video, and he immediately sent it. Before I could walk away from my phone, it dinged. And it said, that's conspiracy theories. He said, unfortunately. Can I send you some stuff? So I said, yes. And as I read through what he sent me, I had to copy and paste one of the, copy and paste a couple of things, but I want to read this one. This is from creation.com, what's called Creation Ministries International. Okay. I guess they're Christian Science. But anyway, it says in this reading, it says here, there is no. We're talking about the vaccine as far as it says there's no autism, no proof of autism. But then it says here, a claim that we should trust God to heal us fails for two reasons. First, such claimant would generally bandage wounds and wear seatbelts rather than trust God to protect them from harm regardless. Second, given the doctrine of sovereignty of God, listen to this, given the doctrine of the sovereignty of God, he is healing us through the wisdom he gave to the vaccine discoverers and prescribers. That is mind-boggling. So you're going to say that we should trust Fauci, Gates, because the Most High gave them the wisdom to create vaccines? Wow. That are going to destroy us?
And that's the thing. They trust in the creature rather than the creator.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you trust, why would you put your trust in someone that's going to die like you,
Thank you.
when you're not putting your trust in someone who's sustaining you, someone who created you? And Jeremiah 17, I'm gonna start at verse 5. Jeremiah 17, verse 5. Thus says Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and his heart, and whose heart departed from Yahweh. For he shall be like a heath in the desert, and shall not see the good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in the salt land, and not inhabit it. So if you put your trust in man and depart from Yahweh, and you put your trust and your dependency on this system, on creatures that are creatures that are flawed like you, and not just that, but or have a mission and agenda to destroy you, or you deserve to die. You're going to die. You are dead. You know what I'm saying? You a walking zombie, or a conscious zombie. You know what I'm saying? And at the end, you're departing yourself from the Most High. But if you apply this verse 7 and verse 8, blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahweh, whose hope is Yahweh, who hope Yahweh is, for he shall be a tree planted by waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see the heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. So if we put our trust in the Most High, we put our trust in the Most High Yahweh, we're going to have life, and we're going to bear fruit, and we're going to, even in everything else around us is dead, we're not going to even worry or concern ourselves in the things that's around us, because our source isn't the things that's temporal that we see. Our source is in the one that's eternal, that can't be seen. And so why don't put your trust in this government? Stop putting your trust in doctors whose science is designed to kill you. Put your trust in the one who desires for you to have life, and that's the Most High.
It is erroneous to me that we would definitely trust Dr. Fauci. No diss to Dr. Fauci. He does what he does. He's a propagator of the globalist plans. But if he get COVID right now, he gonna suffer.
That's right.
He can't help himself. You ever think about the concept that they call what doctors do a practice? You know what I'm saying? They call it a practice. It's a trial. It is a trial and error. I had a doctor they told me I had COVID at the time. They told me I had a stomach bug, and they put me on everything for stomach bug that you could think about. I was taking so much stuff, and I was still sick. I was taking stuff every day. My wife would tell you I was taking stuff every day and losing weight. Couldn't keep nothing down. The doctor said, "Oh, what's your symptoms?" Number one, he didn't look at me. He was on a video, so he had to go by based on what I was telling him, and he prescribed it. But he didn't. None of it. It was just I took one stuff he prescribed. I didn't even take it. I bought it, but I didn't even take it. It was talking about the tendons on your body could mess up, and you can have all this. I said, I'm not taking this. I said, I'm already old and don't heal right, so I definitely don't want my tendons to fall off. I was like, no, I think I'm no good with that. But it gave me like a paperwork, like a book to read before you took it. I said, oh no, I ain't taking that.
Ain't that serious.
I'm not even that serious. I'll just make it through. And then I'm getting sick. I'm getting better by drinking elderberry syrup and tea. None of the pills I took was even working, but elderberry. My wife's making me tea and elderberry and stuff and all that. And I feel all right. It's so funny to me that they want you to believe in them. They want you to believe in. I remember Johnson & Johnson had a lawsuit about the baby powder.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you gonna trust a vaccine? You can't even get baby powder right. I'm just like I got a problem with that. I mean, you're not gonna use me as a guinea pig. You're not gonna use me to try to figure out trial and error. We done seen Tuskegee. We know how they do. But,
We done also seen where Fannie Lou Hamer, people like them that, you know, she had gotten a hysterectomy and sterilized her and all those kinds of things. They done,
You know, that's
used this over and over.
that goes back to they come up with crafty counsel to keep us from being a nation. It's no coincidence that they killing the men, that they're killing us. It don't take a rocket science to figure out that they know that we are the men and we reproduce. So if you could cut us off from reproducing, we won't be a nation. If they sterilize Planned Parenthood and put our sisters on all different kinds of birth control that have all these effects, then they can stop us from reproducing. This is no different than when they said AIDS was a population control disease. We know that they were throwing it in our population. You know, I was watching about hemophilia, how they had tainted blood factor they was giving them, and then they sent it to down to South America and gave all those people AIDS because it was tainted. That's our government. So we're gonna trust these people to steer us in the right direction. My dad said, "You gonna trust the man who don't treat you right is gonna teach you right." How is that? How is that? How can we trust Bill Gates? Why? Because he got money? No. He's the devil, weak and wicked. I don't care what nobody said. You might not like it because I just said it, but hey, been a Yahweh with 0429 @gmail. Send me a nasty email.
And to add on to everything that everybody is saying is, we putting our salvation in the hands of the wicked that desire to kill us. And not even knowing or not even truly considering and recollecting that the one that holds our salvation is the Most High.
Yes.
And Psalm chapter 3 verse 8, salvation belongs to Yahweh. Thy blessing is upon thy people. Like the blessing of salvation, it comes through the Most High, it comes through Yah, and it flows through Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and unto us, and for us. All we need to do is humble ourselves down, accept the Most High for being who the Most High is, accept the Son for being who the Son is, and do what we need to do in order to walk in that. And stop putting our trust and our hope in these places, in these things, in these places that doesn't have our betterment for us.
Give me I got one for that. So give me Psalms 31:15 to go off of what you just said. We constantly, I think it's a psychological trauma that we got from slavery, that we constantly want to run to our oppressor. I guess it happens when the Patty Hearst syndrome, you start to love your kidnapper as opposed to wanting to see judgment and justice. We constantly run back to our oppressor for help. That's why we need more engineers and more plumbers and more, because when this thing is shut down, we need people to cut the lights on. We need people that can make sure the plumbing works. We need people to be able to. We need the engineers, because we can't. What we gonna do? We can't. I never want to keep the white man working. Keep him. Have him be in his servitude. But we got to know how to cut the lights on ourselves.
That's right.
We got to know how to do these things. It's funny that how we used to learn trades. I remember, my dad could do everything. He could put up drywall and fix a car and this and that. But now, you're looking on Craigslist, you're looking on Google, trying to find you a plumber. And I'm guilty of that. I'm not very handy. I was not interested. My dad tried to show me a lot of stuff, and I was like, no, that's getting dirty. I don't want to get dirty. I'm gonna go in the house and watch TV. I don't want to do that. But
now we understand.
We definitely we miss those things.
Yeah.
I was this is kind of off the subject, but I was talking to the kids at work, and I was telling them about the concept of rich dad, poor dad. And I was telling them that, you need to start taking preparation to have jobs for yourself. Don't look for a job. I said, unfortunately, the generation before me passed on working hard, getting a job, working hard. They didn't pass on how to invest. They didn't know how to invest. They didn't know. So they didn't know how to pass it on. So we didn't know how to invest. We weren't investing. We weren't buying stock. We were told to get a job and work hard, and then one day they'll give you a watch and tell you thank you for your service, and that'd be it. They never told us about starting our own businesses, and I think that's a disconnect now. I think we've gotten dependent upon the system. You know, we depend upon this matrix. We don't want to unplug. You know, we want to go back to the matrix. We
Take
don't
that
wanna,
red pill.
We want to take the blue pill. We don't want to wake up. The red pill wakes us up.
Take that red pill.
To take that red pill. We don't want to wake up. The matrix still has us. A lot of us think we woke, but some of us are still got sleep in our eyes. A lot of us still got a little sleep in our eyes because we still are dependent upon the system. You got people planning, you know, I'm planning for Sokoa in 2027. You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow, but you planning for 15 years from now. I mean, come on. I'm hoping that he shut this down and we can be in Israel. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to make no kind of plan. Now, I do want to buy a house. I ain't fronting, but I do want to buy a house. But if not, I'll have my house in Israel. How about that?
There you go.
You got a mansion waiting on you.
Hey,
Oh, that's right. Not
exactly.
made by hand.
As I'm kicking them out, get out of here. As I'm kicking the Ashkenazis out, I will be like, can you cut the lights off when you walk out of my? You know, that's what I'm saying. So you get Psalms 31 and 15 for me.
I'm gonna start at verse 13.
Go ahead, man.
Psalm 31 starting at verse 13. For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But I trust in thee, O Yahweh. I said, Thou art my Elohim. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute me.
Ain't that us right now? It's on every side. You got to worry about being shot by the cops. You got to worry about taking the jab. You got to worry about them putting GMO in your food. You got to worry about, you know, the pills shutting your body down. You know, whenever I look at TV and I see these new drugs, you know, insulin and stuff, when they, at the end of the commercial, they always talk real fast. Could cause this and this could cause this. I'm like, because of all that, why am I taking it? Why would I want to take it? It's like, please don't take this if you have breathing problems. Please call your doctor. I'm like, so I got to worry about having breathing problems? I mean, but we don't trust in the natural things. You know, the sister said one time I heard her say, get some sunlight.
Yeah.
Get out there and get some sun on you. What did we do during the time of Yahweh? They didn't have no doctors. There wasn't really no doctors back then. Not like that. There wasn't nobody prescribing nothing. There wasn't no big pharma. I mean, we was, like I said, people was praying for you. The elders would come in with the oil, anoint you, and you got better. You know, if that was the case, Yahweh wouldn't have healed nobody. He said, well, go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you later. He would send them over to the doctor. He was like, ain't there a doctor over here? You know, but that's the thing. We have what we have. We have what we have to heal ourselves, but we have gotten to the point to where we depend upon other stuff, and this other stuff comes at a price. You know, there's a price on it. You think that it's, you know, it's all good, you know, but you see people 20 years from now they've been taking the same drug, their body shut down on them. You know, now their pancreas don't work, and now this don't work, all because they trusted the doctor and who prescribed it and told them, do not take it. I mean, I take my medication. I ain't gonna front. I take the most of it. There's some of it I don't take. I hope my wife's not listening, but there's some of it I don't take. She take it. You know, cause she be like, you know, make you take it. She has to test alarm for my meds, so she tells me, hey, it's time to take your meds. You know, I take some of it, but other stuff I don't take, because, you know, I don't like how it makes my body feel.
You seem to put more faith in imperfection.
Imperfection.
Than you do in perfection.
Imperfection. Yeah. This is perfection.
And I got a precept coming out of Sirach. This is going to come out of Sirach 38, Ecclesiasticus, in that red book, you know what I'm saying? Chapter 38, verse. I'm going to start at verse 1, and I'm going to end at verse 12, maybe 13. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, starting at the first verse, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the for the uses which ye may have of him. For Yahweh hath created him for the most high, for of the most high cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. Yahweh hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. So right there, I'm sorry. So right here, like it's telling that the Most High have made medicine out of the earth. So everywhere where you see all these greenery, all these everything that we see, we can. It's for our medicine. It's for our healing. It's for our betterment to help contribute to making us whole back to and regain our strength. So verse 5, was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he hath given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works, which with such doth he heal men, and taketh away their pains. For of such doth the apothecary may make a confection, and of his works there is no end, and from him is peace over all the earth. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto Yahweh, and he shall make thee whole. Leave off your sin, and order thy hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. Give a sweet savor of a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being. Then give place to the physician, for Yahweh hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. There is a time when in their hands there is good success. So right here is telling you, right, is, be mindful to be mindful that Yahweh created medicine out of creation. When you come into sickness, when you come into ailments, pray into the Most High. If there is any sin in your life, get rid of that sin, repent, offer praise offer sacrifice unto the Most High. And after you do all this, then go to the physician. So there's an order. Say a lot of us, we running straight to physician, not even consulting the Most High. Right. You know what I'm saying? But the one you got to remember that the reason why we sick is the Most High is allowing us to go through an ailment. So we have to run to Him and go to Him and seek His wisdom.
Think about this. You said something in the scripture where it talks about he put plants and things in the ground. Why is it that when you are trying to get better or you're trying to change your diet, the first thing they tell you to do is eat more greens? Think about it.
Because they know.
They know. Why is it that that's what they tell you when I had texted the brother Moray Azariah Yehuda, and I had told him that I was getting over COVID, and he was talking about tea and the sea moss and stuff that he does, and he was like, "Now I wish I would have known." Saying I got you this tea, you could knock that right out. Those are natural things. It's the greenery, it's the greens, it's the spinach, it's all those things that they got us away from eating. We eat more potatoes, and I like potatoes, and we're just supposed to eat on all. Eating potatoes, fried potatoes, and all that stuff that they got us eating, and not eating the greens. I'm trying to eat more greens now because, I'm about to be 50. I'm just trying to live long. I want to have at least 60, 70 years being on into the kingdom with my wife over there, so I'm trying to get myself together. But, I'm guilty of it too, but that's the first thing people say. Did you eat your greens? Did you eat your greens? You eat greens, It's obvious that Yahweh's giving us what we need. Now, is he over medicine? Most definitely. He gave them the mindset of medicine. He created the concept of that. But you got to go to him first.
Yeah.
Why would you go to somebody that kind of knows? Go to the one that knows. You know. Go ahead, brother.
No, but I had a thought.
Go, please share.
No, I was thinking, like you said, we go to God first because He can direct us to the right doctor.
To the right doctor.
We're not bad mouthing doctors. We're not saying don't trust doctors, don't go to doctors. That's not what we're saying. It's what we're saying is we pray first, which is what we should do in all situations.
In all situations.
We should pray first and get directions. Then you know what doctor to go. He will direct you to a doctor. He already got the doctor in place.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for you to acknowledge him so that he can say, okay, you acknowledge him, yeah.
Yahweh gives you that referral, the referral you need. You know what I mean? And that's going into my next message when I teach service about the steps of the righteous being ordered. I'm going into that.
Right.
But so you in that vein, but it's definitely he gives you he can give you the best referral. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you a doctor I kind of know, but he might not work for you. But Yahweh gonna put you. He gonna plug you with the right attorney, the right doctor, the right mechanic.
Yeah.
You know, he's not gonna stir you. I mean, he's gonna get you one in network, in his network. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely we definitely have to be mindful. I think, man. We as Israel sometimes we get a little cocky, you know, because we think, okay, now we woke, but you know, now this is when the heat's not on us. It's not on us when we're wicked. The heat's on us when we try to live righteous. You know, you don't have problems when you slipping and dipping. You have problems when you say, hey, I ain't gonna do this no more. You know, there's this little character things I had to say. You know what, I'm gonna stop doing. You know. And next thing you know, they were like, "You need to get a letter from your attorney. You need a letter to notarize and by our attorney before you can not take the jab." And I was like, "Wow, where'd that come from?" But it's only because a sincere heart. I repented, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do things different. You know, when you walking with the devil, he ain't after you.
That's right.
But when you take a detour, that's when he comes for you. You know, when we take the red pill, we see how deep the rabbit hole really goes. When we take the red pill, you know, and a lot of us took half blue and half red. Because some of us kind of awake and we kind of sleep, you know. But you know, I tell you right now, me and the brother was talking about it last night. There is no time, you know. And I told Maury this. I talked to Maury yesterday. I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, 7-day harvest is one of those beacons of light that's going to unplug a lot of people, because people are watching us, and people are, you know, I had people all the time say, hey, I saw you, you know, they're watching us, and we just got to do what we got to do. We got to be 10 toes down. We got to be knuckled up and ready to deliver this truth to people, because they watch it and they looking for something like this. This is you know what I'm saying? This is that lighthouse in the middle of the water that all the boats want to go to. And that's what we got to continue to do that. There's people that are trying to wake up. They know this world is wicked. They know they in the matrix, but they can't figure out how to get out. And it's up to us to help them unplug by keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Because that's the red pill. This red book and this Bible is what going to truly show us who our enemy is and what they're doing. Because everything that is going on right now is in this book. Everything, there's nothing new. The crafty counsel, the trying to get us with, you know, vain doctrines and, you know, confusion, it's in here. You know, the whole vaccine theory is a doctrine of devils, a doctrine of men. They're trying to confuse you to make you think that you can trust them. You know, they want you to trust them to put you back to sleep. Brother, we got 10 minutes? All right. We'll wind it down. Which one was what you doing? Go ahead. No, go ahead. I can wind it down.
Thank you, Josh, for that scripture position, because we have in Ecclesiastes, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, it says, Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn ye that ye judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of Yah, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsel. Because ye being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of God. And it says, hardly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. And just listening to in Psalm with Josh read from, talking about the positions, we have to understand that righteous positions will give you the right medicine.
Right.
Okay, but the kingdom of this world has been given over to the Gentiles, and they will put. If you look at any given medication that say it has CMOS in it, it says CMOS. You can go buy it off the counter. But if you look at the amount of CMOS that's in there, it's very little, and every other thing that they add to it. And that's where we get all the side effects. And then so the problem is we have to pray for righteous physicians that's gonna give you from the earth, or give you from the medicine that the Most High have provided. But the world, that the powers that be, because of pharmakia and the power of the pharmacies and the money that's generated, they're only you can find any natural herb that can heal you probably in many of the medications that they do, but what they do is they mingle with so much other, poisons, artificial, exactly. So the whole point of it is we have to come to a point, we know that healing comes from the Most High.
Definitely.
Even in what they give us, the Most High don't heal us, we won't be healed.
Definitely.
You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring it out because it was good to hear that scripture. I know I probably read it before, but just listening to it, it's like we got to remember the system that we're under. They're wicked.
Yes.
And in this particular, and I read this morning from the Wisdom of Solomon, it talks about their mindset toward the righteous. They hate us because we keep the law. They hate us because we're walking upright, trying to walk upright before the Most High. And they like you said, they got crafty counsel, and it's all in here.
It's all in here.
So I'm on a couple of pills. I take immunosuppressant medication because, if I don't, then, obviously, my antibody will attack the kidney that's inside of me, But I'm just about off everything else.
And you know what? And the thing with that is that when I was little, I remember the doctors used to try to cure whatever you had. It doesn't seem like they try to cure it. It seems like they try to keep you stable. They treat it, but they don't cure it. And so it's because they want to continue. They want your copay. They want to continue to see you. So they just keep you stable enough until you have a little more episode and you go back. Hey, I'm still kind of hurting. And they say, well, let's add this. I know my doctor's like, the pressure is good. It's a little bad. Let's add a patch. Now I got to wear a patch on my arms a week. And all that on top of taking medication. It's like, have the blood pressure stuff. I got the patch on. I don't really take this stuff. And then I was a doctor and it was like, oh, your blood pressure's fine. Have you taken medicine? Maybe. But it seems to be regulated now. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna start getting off this patch because I lost all this weight. But they don't try to cure. I remember the doctors I had when I was a kid. He tried to actually, hey, do this. And he would talk about food. The doctors would talk about food. Like, what are you feeding? What does he eat tonight? So my mom's like, oh, he did this. No, switch that up. Don't give him that. Put him on all broth. Don't do that. They would try to look at your diet as well as treat it with maybe medication or antibiotic or whatever. Now it's like they don't even care. My doctor don't ask me not one time what I eat. He don't ask me about my diet. He don't care. He asks me what's wrong and then he gives me something else. Or you ain't sleeping, he'll take Trazodone. He ain't trying to get to the root of it. Maybe, brother, what's wrong? You having some stress? He don't ask nothing. He just, oh, you're not sleeping. Trazodone, take that twice a night. You want to make me a zombie at night, but you don't want to fix the problem. The problem still exists. So it's like, you know, it's definitely a two-edged sword. My last precept, because I have two, but I'll give my last one. Can you give me 119 and verse 134? 134.
Psalm chapter 119 at verse 134. Deliver me from the oppression of men, so will I keep thy precepts.
We know that this world is wicked. We know who our enemy is. We know who's oppressing us. So we got to ask the Most High, hey, deliver us from this wickedness, this wicked deceiver. Because the precepts is this script, is the law, statutes, and commandments. So I can continue to do what I'm supposed to do. Get this man off my back. You know, we got to look at the fact that Yahweh, it's only Yahweh that's going to do it. Nobody else can do it. I can't do it for you. I will try. You know, I am packing, so if anybody grow up in here, then, you know, I'll help you on that aspect. But ultimately, I can't deliver you from the oppression of man. It is only Yahweh that can do that. You know, we still fighting Caesar, and we gotta definitely get him off our back. But the help comes from Yahweh. Yahweh has all the power, and we have no power. So, you know, Matthew 6:13 says, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." You know, he's only him. Only he can do it. Only he can deliver us from evil. Psalms 119 and verse 134 says, "Plead my cause and deliver me. Quicken me according to thy word." So on top of deliver me, plead my cause. You know, I used to tell people, when you pray for me, call my name out.
Yeah.
Make sure, because there might be another bit of Yahoo that he might get it. Make sure you talk about the bearded brother over here. You know, make sure you talk about me. Call my name out, because I definitely want him to come see about me. When you pray for me, hey, make sure you say my name. Bit of Yahoo, Moshe. Make sure you call it out. But again, we want to thank you for tuning in to Shabbat School. We are going to take a quick break and then go into our Sabbath service, which will be done by yours truly. You get more of me. And thank you. Bishop, could you close it out in prayer?
Let's pray. Abba Yah, we come with humble hearts and bow heads, giving you all praise, honor, and glory. We want to thank you for allowing us to see another day, see another Shabbat. We're so excited to spend time with you, knowing that you are in our presence. We just thankful that we're two or three gathered together in your name. You are in the midst. So we want to give you all glory, honor, and praise. Thank you for the Shabbat lesson. Hallelujah. Thank you for our Moreh, who has humbly presented himself and fed us this morning with the knowledge and understanding of your word. So we just want to give you all glory and praise as we go forth into our worship service. We just ask that you continue to be with us and be in our midst, that the body may be edified and that you may be glorified. Hallelujah. We ask that you in the Son and our shot. Hallelujah. So,
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon. Shabbat Shalom.